please welcome Mr. Fatman Scoop to set the trend.
What's happening, man? How you feeling? How's everything? I mean, I don't think I've ever made women throw panties on stage from nobody's
I don't believe that. I
Trey
don't believe
Songz or
that.
Chris Brown. Nah, man, I never had that party. Yeah, but
The
that
way
nothing else.
the way you hype up a crowd, you get them in. You can get them women to throw their panties up in the air without no problem.
Yeah, it's a different kind of thing. Like, R&B is one thing, hyping is another thing. Like, if I was singing songs, I would definitely say that. But I make people party, but not throw panties in the air. Although I wish I could, but
Well, we
you can
should.
only do one thing at a time.
I got an idea for a remix then of one of your famous call signs. If you got $10, put your hands up. If you got $10, make noise. You can say, if you got blue panties, throw them on the stage.
Right. I mean, something. If I probably did it, it's more of a command. It's more like it's more like do this. So if I did it that way, I'd probably get something happening.
Anyway, I mean, first of all, Fatman Scoop, welcome to Set the Trend. Welcome to the UK, and happy that you're here, and so looking forward to your your set down at MetroFest. How's it feel to be back behind turntables?
I mean, I've done a little things here and there in the United States. Um, you know, for anybody who knows me, I spent like 13 years coming back and forth to England every week. So, this is like my home too. So not being here in a year and a half is kind of, feels funny, but it is what it is, and I'm happy to be back. It's not even people think it's about the money. It's about the action.
I mean, you absolutely right there in regards to the action and the money. Before we get deep into kind of like, the whole premise of MCing, just wanted to find out, like, to set context for a lot of people who don't know. I mean, when I first came across you, I'd already heard of Bismarck, who sadly we lost,
God
who was
bless
a
the dead.
great MC.
Good friend of mine,
DJ,
close friend.
DJ Cool as well,
Hmm. Hmm.
who was just an amazing, like, call and response guy. And I
Yeah.
remember growing up and wanting to be that type of person. And you came along and just set the trend in regards to, putting it not only to record, but also through partying as well. I just wanted to know, like, were those type of people your inspiration? The MCing for you, was it something that you picked up from the old Jamaican way of toasting on the records where you grew up, or?
I know. What my whole story was. First of all, there's a legendary DJ named Hollywood
Oh,
who actually was DJing before like hip hop even started. He was doing it in like 70, 71 when they first got the mixes and stuff. So, and he's from Harlem. His name is DJ Hollywood. He's
yeah.
my grandfather. I mean, he's my
Okay.
great grandfather in this business. Then Dougie Fresh would be my grandfather,
Okay.
because everything I learned from Dougie Fresh. And I was being a young rapper from Harlem myself, I was in the Dougie Fresh farm system. And my direct mentor was a guy named DJ Chilwell, who was Dougie Fresh's DJ.
Yeah.
Then DJ Cool would be my father in the business. So he would be my father, and the person that's right who I kind of came after. And then there's me, and then hopefully at some point when I decide to give up the mic, I'll be somebody's father or grandfather or great grandfather. So that's the tree that I come from. DJ Hollywood, who was one of the first people to even do call and response on the mic, which led to Dougie Fresh, which led to DJ Cool, and then on to me.
Right. Okay. Because some people will say that the whole idea of that came from the Jamaican sound systems, but for you, it was obviously your inspiration was Hollywood. And funny enough, one of our co-presenters in the sound system, there's an MC who's very revered called MC Hollywood, which is
Right.
quite apt. Funny enough, actually.
Now, you know, I come from Harlem, so there wasn't a lot of Jamaicans in Harlem.
Okay.
If you went to Brooklyn, there was a lot of Jamaicans in Brooklyn. However, there was not a lot of Jamaicans in Harlem. So I was never, uh, 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 I was never immersed in that culture because there was none of that around where I lived. But if you just go a little bit south to Brooklyn,
Yeah.
like Brooklyn is Jamaica. Period.
It sure is. Yeah.
Well, they got a place called Jamaica Queens.
Yeah. Well, Jamaica Queens is just Jamaica Queens, but if you want to talk about the biggest group of Jamaicans in one place, it would probably be Brooklyn and Toronto and London.
Yes.
Wicked. And so then after you eventually picked up the DJ and did the microphone thing, you obviously went into radio. Did you find yourself as somebody who was very unique at radio at the time when you were coming through?
Nah, mistakes. I mean, to be completely honest with you, and I won't lie to you, I just started DJing like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I never had no reason. You know, I was known as a host. So I would go to the clubs, right? So I go to the clubs and I come in there and the DJ's on the set. And I would be like, yo, man, I'm about to make this thing go crazy. Play a hit. And they wouldn't play a hit. Or you know, I'd say all this crazy stuff and I'd be like, let's go. And then you playing a garbage song.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they would play a record that had a 40-bar instrumental. Like when I talk all of that stuff, it has to be impact right away. And one day I was walking out of a club, and it was here in England. Might have been like where's Anthony Joshua from?
Watford.
Watford.
Area.
I think it was Watford. It was like someplace like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Watford though, right?
Yeah, Watford's
And
a big
I was walking out of a club. And the DJ, some white girl was like, Fatman Scoop was terrible tonight.
Woo!
But it was the DJ.
It was the DJ.
But she didn't know I was standing behind her. She was just walking out. And I was just like, you know something? If I'm going to die, I'm going to die from my own hand.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to DJ. I wasn't really, I was afraid to DJ. And I got signed to a company called Scam. And if you guys know Scam has some of the biggest DJs in the world.
Yeah.
And Sujit was putting me on shows, and I was going to the shows, and I was like, you know, I would get there, and then when it was time for me to DJ, I would be afraid. I mean, I act like the equipment's broke because I wanted to be in my comfort zone. Which was
your
the mic.
Comfort zone was
The mic.
hosting and hype man, yeah?
But then when I started to realize that DJing is like doing a show, it all clicked for me. So I know, you know, I'm gonna play this song and I'm gonna play this song. So I started to say, if I was on stage and all I had to do was play records while I was on stage dancing and jumping, how would I do it? And once I did that, it was very easy for me. And I've been doing it since then.
Okay.
So how did you kind of like? You're very good at what you do, and I have to say that I have me personally growing up, I remember going to Rock and Soul in New York, picking up an AV8 record with Crooklyn Clan on it, and buying it because I used to go over there to buy records, and that was honestly the first time I ever came across Fatman Scoop.
Yes.
And since then, I was extremely hooked, and you know, DJs used your music, your acapellas. I mean, what's that feeling like for you to be in a club, especially in the UK? You know, we love our AV8s, and especially the Fatman Scoop AV8s.
Yes.
What was it like to hear that, and then also on top of that, put out a #1 record in the UK using a similar style?
Well, you know, I used to be a radio plucker. So I was used to going to radio and, you know, any record that I plugged that was a hit, I considered that was me on the mic.
Yeah.
Because I made it a hit. So I was never really rocked by hearing my stuff on the radio. By the time I started plugging my own records, I'm like, whatever. I, as far as the UK, it was a great thing to come over here and get a #1 record. And I remember the week that I got the #1, I was up against Blue,
Yeah.
Ooh,
right?
ooh.
And yeah, yeah. And they were like, you're not gonna be #1. I remember the label telling me, you're not gonna be #1. And I went to my man Rob Pasco. Rob
Yeah,
Pasco
Robert.
is a big plug out here.
I know
Shout
him.
to my man
Salute.
Rob Pasco.
Well, he's
Rob
now the
Pasco.
MD. He's now MD, isn't he?
Yeah,
General manager
yeah.
of
Shout to
Virgin.
Rob Pasco and his brother. But I went to Rob Pasco and I was like, yo, Rob, I want you to put me on every radio station you can. And then I went to the PR lady, I forget her name, and I was like, yo, put me on every interview, I don't care what it is. And I worked from 4 a.m. in the morning to 12 midnight for about a week straight.
Wow.
And I did everything. And when they put the record out, it came out and I beat Blue. And I was one person against a legitimate Superboy band, and I did it, but it's because I worked my tail off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't take nothing for granted.
You had a UK #1, but you've also had 3 Billboard #1s.
Yes.
Let's put some respect on this man's name. The music that this man sells. Billboard #1s, not 1, not 2, but 3. Salute,
I
Fatman
mean,
Scoop.
it's a blessing. And you know, I look at those records and they're beautiful, but I one day I don't, and it's always possible until you give up the mic completely. There's always a chance for another hit record. I'd like to have one by myself, because it's one thing when you ride off somebody's thing,
Mm-hmm.
but when you have your own, it's a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Now Missy Elliott, I don't think I rolled off Missy Elliott's record. I think I'm one of the reasons that I was like the extra sauce that just put it all the way over
On
the
a new
top
planet. Yeah.
on a new planet. So that one I don't consider myself riding off. I consider myself just as essential to that record as Missy and Sierra was. Maybe even more so,
Mm-hmm.
because I brought that different energy that took it from here to over there. So, that's one of the records I feel like I was right there. But I really want one of my own to do it. But
Okay, and are you working on that at the moment?
always working, man. I mean, I've had #1 records in the EDM space. The
Yeah.
band, band,
Yeah.
band,
Yeah.
band, band. I've
Yeah.
had that, but
Yeah.
I've had #1 records on Beatport and stuff like that. But I've never had my own #1 in the black space, in the urban space. So God willing, hopefully I can do that.
Of course, 100%. And me being a radio plugger, and the fact that I also like to MC myself, I know there's still hope. You're keeping the dream alive for people like me.
Yes. Listen. There's
So,
never an end. Uh, you know, um, uh, the dude who created ASDA
yeah.
was 44 years old when he created ASDA. ASDA is Walmart in America.
Yeah.
Um, Ray Kroc, the guy who created McDonald's, 54. Colonel Sanders, KFC, 68. It's never over until you say it's over. That's what I learned from Mariah Carey.
Now,
Yeah,
while we,
and
while we,
the great thing about
oh,
you,
sorry.
Mr. Scoop, is that you have a natural positive energy, not only on your records, not only on the stage, but also in life. And like I said, I've been in a room with you, but I've never ever spoken to you a couple of times.
Bro, you gotta
And
always come up and speak, man. Like,
Don't be afraid.
my thing is that you can't be in the people business without fucking with people.
oh yeah, of course.
I noticed that a lot of dudes bust their butts and pray to get to where they are and be in front of millions of people, and then you want to go in the back in a VIP. Like, I don't believe in all that VIP and all that stuff. I mean, now because we can't do it, you can't get with the people. But anybody who knows me knows I get right up in the middle of people. I
What,
talk to people. I've
one,
lost 20 of my teeth from being in the crowd and the mic hitting me in the mouth. So, like,
one,
that's part
one
of
of
the
the
game.
things, one of the things I always say, yeah, everyone's a VIP in this room.
Mhm.
And we have to speak to everybody because everybody in that room can make moves for you. You just got
Yes.
to speak to them and know what's going and know what they're doing. You know, if you don't speak, you're not gonna know.
The lowest, and people don't understand it, but the lowest person in a business is the most important.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
of
Because
course.
the janitor, the secretary, the workers, they're the most important because they make the business run.
Oh yeah, hundred
If you
percent.
can't talk to the janitor and the secretary, you have nothing, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah,
So,
So
yeah.
so
I've
let
always been a big guy on that note. But go ahead. What was your question, brother?
so how excited are you? And what would be your first record that you're going to be playing that you at MetroFest
Well,
on Sunday?
first of all, MetroFest is going to be crazy. You got 7 stages, 7 different stages, 7 different vibes of music. Of course, I'm on the stage with Fat Joe, Maya, Blackstreet, Horace Brown, people like that. And then you got Tony Touch's stage. You got
Woo!
Raindrop stage. You got a bunch of different stages that you can go to. And I mean, what's crazy about it? We maybe have maybe about 200 tickets left, maybe less. So if you want to get it, you need to come get it now because
Excellent.
it's definitely going to be a movie. So think about it this way: it's completely sold out except for like 200 or 300 tickets.
Excellent.
So hold on one second. Hold on one second. Somebody's at my door. Give me 1 second. But hold on 1 second. I'm gonna be there. Give me 1 second. MetroFest is gonna be crazy. I haven't thought about the record that I'm gonna play on MetroFest, but it's always good to start it off with DMX Party Up.
That's
Okay.
the
Always
joint.
good.
And rest in peace.
Yes,
Hmm.
and we're going to talk about that in a second. They're delivering my food. Let me just
Yeah,
pull
no
my
problem,
food
no
in
problem.
here.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know that because of the quarantine, I can't go outside my room.
Okay.
Oh
So just hold.
yes.
I can't go outside my room. Hold on one
All
second. I'll
right.
be right back. You guys kick it for a second. I'll be right back. Stay
All
right there.
right, all right. So we set the trend. We got a Fatman Scoop in the building, and yes, these things happen, man. This is the lifestyle post COVID of what's
And it,
happening.
that DMX record is definitely a party starter,
Ah, come on,
isn't
man. DMX is my boy, as you know, from a very long time. So, but
it?
I've got to take this opportunity to big up all the MetroFest promoters as well. And big up to my boy Hakeem Stevens,
Okay, I'm
doing the
sorry.
thing,
Pardon
getting
me.
it in there.
Excuse me. So
Ah, he's
so
back.
yeah. So I can't leave. I can't leave the room. And
Hmm.
I want to respect the regulations. Like I could have gone downstairs and been out in the street kicking it or whatever, but I said, nah, you got to respect the. You got to
How you
respect the.
how are you coping with this whole COVID thing? How are you coping? How did you cope with it?
What you mean with the quarantine?
The quarantine, the COVID, not being locked down,
Well,
freedom.
you want to hear something, man? I was lucky. I had preparation.
Yeah.
When I was on Celebrity Big Brother, I was in the house for 30 days with no internet, no radio, no newspaper, no nothing, by myself with 20 other people. So
Hmm.
when they said, "Yo, stay in the house," what if I got my internet? I got everything. I don't care. So what? Because I was trained for that by the Celebrity Big Brother experience. You learn so much
Exactly.
with that. You learn how to be alone, isolation, look at the same people. So I was easy with that. Everything else was pretty much smooth to me. It was just the fact that there was no money coming in. I went from making thousands of dollars a month to zero.
Yeah, a lot of
That's a
us
hell
in
of
the
a
same
shock.
boat.
That's a
Hmm.
hell of a shock, man.
Hmm.
And now the one thing that I always knew it, but the one thing that I really learned from it was that you have to have more than one stream of income, period,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
or else
Definitely.
you're dead.
So you on this
So,
crypto thing?
huh?
You doing crypto?
No, I'm not messing with crypto. I'm actually dealing with the lorry business.
Oh yes.
I didn't hear that.
So I'm in,
Yep.
I'm dealing with the lorry business. Um, just making sure that lorries move back and forth and being the middleman and the contractor. And then
Hmm.
I'm working on it now. I'll know probably by October or November. I'm working on getting a license for marijuana in the state of New Jersey.
Oh, fantastic! You know what's so interesting when you say about diversification and also about the whole thing of getting other income streams. I think a lot of us have done that as well. I mean, me myself, I did a bit of retraining. I've just signed up to a course doing software testing and learning how to become a software test engineer. I'm doing an FCA as well, like a financial conduct authority course to be able to handle people's money. So I get you, man. And that whole logistics, transportation, that is huge. People don't realize how big that stuff like that. And I mean, you know, you are a natural businessman anyway, because you had your own ice cream truck, right?
Well, I'll tell you this.
Uncle
And
Jack, yeah?
let me, yeah, my Uncle Jack was instrumental in me in my love of ice cream, man. He was instrumental in that, my Uncle Jack. You have to learn to pivot. And that's the one thing that people said that I didn't like, but I had to understand. There was a program, a campaign here in England, and I never forget. My role manager showed me like an ad, and it was a lady that was a ballerina, and they were like, go find another job. And I thought it was very insensitive for somebody to say, you're a ballerina who you spent God knows how many years learning that craft, and then they telling you just in an ad, go learn to be in construction. But after you get past the pain of hearing that, you should have 2 or 3 lines of work.
Exactly.
Because if you have 2 or 3 different lines of work, something goes wrong, you've got this to lean on.
That's right.
So when I was sitting, so what happened with me, and here's how I got into the lorry business and learning about it, and I'm actually going to school for it. I actually have to get up in the morning to go to school for it. Even though I'm here in England, I still got to go to school for it. I was here on a tour called the Blast Off Tour.
Yep, I remember
it. Was me, Maya, Nelly, Shaggy, Salt and Pepper, Eve, a bunch of different people, right? So we're all sitting there and they say, listen, today is the last day that you're going to be able to do shows. Happened to be the last day of the tour, so we got lucky, right? All right, so I got to go home the next day on a repatriation flight. Get home, right? All right, boom, I'm home. It's very scary in America. It's a whole scary vibe, right? So I get to my bed and I'm laying in the bed and I'm trying to figure out what my future is, right? And I'm sitting there and it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I live on the 4th floor in a complex. Now the complex it's a big complex that's just been built. However, it's in the middle of the countryside.
Yeah.
I could hear rabbits running through the grass on the 4th floor. So you know how quiet it has to be? Nothing was moving. But the one thing I heard was, I heard those trucks moving. I said, wait a minute, hold on. I'm in the wrong line of work. See, me, you, the 3 of us are in a recession-proof business.
Yeah.
We're not in a depression-proof business.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to be. And, I just said, listen, I've got to apply the same work ethic that got me to be Fatman Scoop to be in the trucking business and the marijuana business and any other business. And that's simply we have to pivot and switch gears, man.
A quick couple of questions, because we're getting in the background, we're being told we've got to wrap up. So a quick couple of questions. For any up-and-coming young hosts, DJs, what advice would you give them?
The same advice I always give. If you want to be great, do a couple of different things. Get rid of your boyfriend or your girlfriend. It's number 1. Because you cannot excel and do what you need to do with somebody on your shoulder saying, oh, I want to go out. Oh, I want to live life. Oh, I want to do. If you want to get to the top, it's hard. It's a lot to do, and it's fucking lonely. Number 2, if you're a guy, get a vasectomy. Because if you do get to where you need to go, there's going to be a lot going on. In your first couple of years of fame, when you are brand new to it and you don't know anything, you're going to make a lot of mistakes with women. Get a vasectomy. make sure that you can mitigate your risk of what could happen. Get yourself a vasectomy. Number 3 is be prepared to work all day, every day. That's why I said you have to get rid of your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Listen, when I was Fatman Scoop and working on that and being a rapper, I didn't have sex until I was 19. Because my focus wasn't that. I busted my ass to get to where I needed to be.
Yeah, indeed.
So you have to have
Okay.
laser focus, and when you have laser focus, you can't have distractions around you. So that would be my advice.
And listen, that's a great bit of advice that people wouldn't expect to hear, but you telling the truth, and that's how it is. Sometimes you gotta hear the truth. You know,
Now,
nothing wrapped up. Those are the sacrifices that people don't realize the greats sometimes
now,
have to make.
now we're all going to be seeing you on Sunday,
Yes.
but Friday, the 6th of August,
Yes.
it's a special day for you.
Yes. It's my birthday.
Hey!
And how
It's
old you going to be, sir?
old enough, man. Old enough.
21
man.
again.
21 for the 10th time. You know, like
From the team of Set the Trend, we want to wish you a happy birthday for Friday.
Indeed.
thank you.
Indeed.
I appreciate that, man. And I'm gonna be in quarantine for my birthday. But listen, man, I'm about the action and doing this. So if I get a choice to be in quarantine for my birthday or be able to party, I'm gonna take I take the quarantine.
Okay. Well, we're going to try our best to send you something to help the party even sweeter in your hotel room. For
Thank
that.
you for whoa, sir,
No,
sir.
no, 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 no,
Sir.
no, no, no. When I say sweet, a cake.
Oh, okay, sir. You can't send ladies to quarantine, sir.
And what's your favorite ice cream? What's the best
Oh, my
flavor
favorite
ice
ice
cream?
cream, of course, is chocolate, brother. It's chocolate.
Excellent.
That's my favorite.
Excellent. Well, we'll
And
try
I
the.
actually, with Mikey's ice cream in Harlem, then we're coming out with my own flavor. Amazing. It's a mix
Excellent.
of course, my favorite thing, which is like a Reese's Pieces, which is chocolate, peanut butter, and of course, ice cream. So it's gonna be great.
Well, I've got loads of. My friend just cleared out his warehouse, so I've got loads of jerk sauce and Mighty Malt. So
Oh man,
send a few your way.
I definitely will send it. Thank you very much, brothers. I will catch you later. God
That's it.
bless.
Okay,
God bless
big up.
you. See
Thank you
you on
very much,
Sunday.
Scoop.
Fatman
Cheers.
God
Scoop.
bless. All right, guys.